Welcome, everyone. I am so tickled to have as our guest today the
Mhm.
amazing Alex Capshaw-Taylor, who is making her first visit to the party line to celebrate her book, Dressed in Knits, which, just the title of the book for me, I was really taken with it before I even opened it because it's
Mhm.
kind of a it's kind of a dream to think about actually wearing something you made every day. And
Mhm.
I'm going to close this door for just a second because my dogs are barking. But
Well, I'm so excited to be here with you guys, and I can't wait to talk about my book as Beth's closing the door. I'll just say hello.
so
Mhm.
and Alex, you kind of first came on my radar there was a lot of I don't know, like chatter in the knitting world about your
Mhm.
hand knit wedding gown. And I think that was
Yes,
the
I
first time I heard about you. So tell us how all that
mhm.
got started.
Well, actually, I set it up on my mannequin. So I'm just going to walk you guys over there so we can look at it.
Oh yeah.
Um, but when my husband proposed to me, I knew that I had to have a winter wedding because I wanted to make my dress. And so this is it for those of you who haven't seen it.
Oh
It's
my.
knit from an alpaca cashmere uh, blend yarn, and then this is actually Rowan Kid Silk Haze with a sparkle. And my husband's family is Austrian, so I wanted to kind of celebrate their heritage, so I chose a twisted stitch pattern
Oh
um,
my
through the
God.
cables.
For people who
And
are coming back and watching this on YouTube, I'm really, really sorry that you can't see this live
yeah,
because
but you can actually see it on my website. There are
which
pictures of it on my blog.
yeah, show people how to come back and see that. But that is just stunning. So even the pictures that
Thank
I had
you.
seen before just really didn't do that justice.
Mhm.
That's really special. But
Yeah.
I heard about it kind of through the knitting grapevine. People were talking about this
hmm
incredible knitted wedding gown, and that was where I first heard your name. So the fact that you knitted your wedding gown is kind of proof that there really isn't anything that you could wear that you couldn't knit. So
Seriously. Yeah, yeah. And I mean,
exactly.
it was probably my favorite, or I guess most personal project to me. Um, and it was just such a special day. I actually knit my husband's tie too, so he would have something hand knit on our wedding day, which was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least you didn't knit all of the bridesmaids' dresses though, right?
God no. And actually, I didn't even have bridesmaids, so it was
Yeah.
I didn't have to. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's just too much, too much, too
hmm
much. So yeah, people in
Yeah.
the room are just going crazy for your wedding gown. It's just so pretty. But that's one of those heirloom.
Well, you know,
You're gonna have
oh
to have
yeah,
a daughter at some
definitely.
point, right?
I know. Well, maybe next time. But so the other aspect of the wedding dress that I really like, and it's actually how I first discovered you, Planet Pearl, is through travel. And I purchased the yarn from a trip that I took to Peru. And the pearls are all natural river pearls that I got in Guatemala. But when looking for yarn, you have fantastic yarn translation charts that I've shared linked through you on my Facebook. But not only in Peru, but also I used them in Russia, and I think I used it when I was in Egypt. So
Yeah,
thank you for putting those together.
I mean, it's crazy because when you're shopping for yarn in a foreign country, you really don't. There are only certain things you need to be able to ask, and the most important thing
Right, yeah, yeah.
in every language is where's the nearest yarn store. So
Yes.
it
Yes.
was funny. That's actually how Planet Pearl got started because I took
hmm
up knitting again, I guess about ten years ago, and I had a lot of frequent flyer miles, hundreds of thousands that I hadn't used, and I finally started
Yeah.
traveling, and it was right after I had taken up knitting again, and I'd really fallen in love with it, and knitters for souvenirs, we buy yarn. I mean,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
what we buy,
Yeah.
right? We buy yarn, and so, and when you knit with it, it's also kind of a memory of that trip, and it's kind of
Yeah.
the whole package. But that was what I was looking for, is I wanted yarn stores in other countries
Hmm.
and something that were like a dictionary that I could use, because your usual, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, your usual dictionaries don't talk about yarn. So in foreign
Right.
languages,
Right.
that's actually how it got started. Oh, that's so funny. So I'm glad we could help.
Hmm.
Glad we could help.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great.
So now the idea for this book, how did
Hmm.
this come about?
So I had designed some things for Interweave, and my father actually lives out in Aspen, Colorado, and I'm so lucky to be able to go visit him every summer. And Interweave is based out in Fort Collins, Colorado, and it's kind of like a 2-day trip. It's a little bit of a drive, but so every time that I go out to visit my dad, I also visit the Interweave offices. And the acquisitions editor over there found out that I was coming and contacted me and asked if I would be interested in doing a book for Interweave. And it was like the coolest email I have ever received. I like totally lost it, flipped out. I was with my brother and sister. We were in an Indian restaurant eating, and luckily there weren't too many other people in there because I think I would have disturbed them. But so then I went and met with Allison, and we discussed what kind of book I would pursue. And my original idea was to do all dresses because I love them. And thankfully Allison talked me out of it because that would have been a lot of knitting. So, but I still liked the idea of dressing and knits, and that's kind of how we came up with the title. Um, and so from there, it just I started sketching and came up with the idea to kind of walk you through your day, wearing knits in every aspect of your day, from before you get dressed to leave the house to leaving the house in a jacket or a hat or whatever it is. And so that was a really easy, natural progression then to go foundation pieces, day, night, outerwear, accessories.
Yeah. So, and I don't knit for myself very often. I'm usually knitting, well, I
Mhm.
knit for gifts and I knit for books, but I don't usually knit. And last year I actually knit myself a sweater. It was a really quick, easy sweater. It was actually, I think it was out of
Mhm.
a very easy sweater book or something. And I just love wearing that sweater. There's something about wearing something that you've created that,
Yes.
yeah, it's just, you know, if all your knitting
Mhm.
is Afghans now, you need to move on to hats or something, because knitting something
Yeah.
yeah, wearing something that you've knit yourself is just such a special thing. So, but so and
And I mean, it's great when you go out and people notice, like people know, they can tell something is hand knit, not because it looks handmade, but because of the quality. You can't find the kind of yarn that we're working with in stores of machine made items.
yeah,
So it's great. You'll get a lot of compliments if you knit yourself a sweater.
I agree. And it's funny because that's the what happens when I wear the sweater that I knit. People are like, "Oh, that's a great sweater." And
Hmm.
nobody's ever said that about something I bought at Macy's. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just,
Hmm.
my rule is if I could buy it at Macy's or Target, I don't knit it. That's my rule.
Yeah,
So I'm not gonna spend time on
yes. That's a good rule.
it.
That is a
So
really good
so
rule.
we're gonna take a little tour of the book, and as you said, you
Okay.
start out with foundation garments, things that you can wear under
Hmm.
things, or the these are you could wear them out as well, or this would be so lovely
Yeah.
just under a jacket for work. So
Hmm.
yeah, so tell us about this design. I just love that lace detail across the top.
Yeah, so this one, I actually have it right here. This is called the Tenerife camisole. It's named Tenerife because I actually was working on it on my honeymoon. We were in Tenerife, um, much to my husband's chagrin. But so it's knit out of Cascade Ultra Pima Fine, which is a wonderful yarn if you've never used it.
I have
Um,
beautiful.
yeah, Yeah, and it knits up really nicely. It's nice and lightweight, so even though it's cotton, I feel like this garment would not stretch out as much over time because it's not as heavy as like a worsted um, weight would be. But so for those of you that love stockinette, tons of stockinette in the bottom. It also features turned hem here so that you don't have to worry about any ribbing at the bottom. And if we were just to do stockinette without a turned hem, it would end up rolling, but I wanted a crisp edge, so that's why
Yeah.
I used that.
Well, and
And
that's one of the
yeah, this would be great for like,
no, go right ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just going to say this would be great, for like a summer day out or just lounging around the house.
Yeah, this is actually cute even for just a little pajama top. So, I mean, you could, yeah, and
Yes,
actually
yeah.
Kimberly said she
And
loves it and
mhm.
thinks it's beautiful, and
Oh,
it's
thank
just a
you.
really elegant piece. So, yeah, just really really pretty. And one of the things
And
in the book,
mhm.
in addition to the designs, is that there are some really great tips on um, like you were talking about the actual hem as opposed to doing.
Mhm.
You actually have instructions for doing these little couture finishing details that
Yeah,
people will use on. I mean, they'll. I would
I
honestly.
hope
I'm
so.
yeah. I'm gonna. There are a lot of things that I just wouldn't put the ribbing on, even if the pattern did, and just your instructions for
Right.
doing a turned hem is just makes it. I mean, because it makes such a huge difference in the garment.
It really does.
Yeah, really, really.
Yeah, it really affects the look of it. Also, this is knit in the round too, for those of you that don't want to do any purling. So
Yeah,
that'll
so
go super
yards of
fast.
stockinette, knitting around. It's a great
Yes.
project in front of the television, right? So you don't have to think
Yes.
too much
Yeah,
about
or
it.
at the movies.
Yeah, until you get to the top,
Yeah.
you're pretty much mindlessly knitting, which is definitely a good
Yeah.
project. So, and then this
Hmm.
is beautiful. I looked at this and I thought, oh, wouldn't this be pretty for a gift for a bride's trousseau? I mean, this is
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really lovely. So tell us about this little slip dress thing here.
Okay, so yes, this was designed kind of, I used like vintage chemise as like my inspiration. And it was actually a little sexier, but Interweave asked me to tone it down some so that we can wear it out of the house. It is, I think with this though, you'd want to wear like a nude slip underneath it because this is sheer here at the top. Um, but so this one is worked in Cascade Venezia, I think worsted here through the body, and then the hem has this pretty little ruffle, which is out of Cascade alpaca lace, a yarn
Oh,
that I
pretty.
love to use,
Yeah,
especially for dresses because you don't. When you're creating a garment that has so much fabric in it that's knitted, you want to make sure that you're not weighing it down so it doesn't pull down your body. And the ultra alpaca is something that I use, or not ultra alpaca, alpaca lace is something that I use a lot of designs. And so that hem here, the lace is kind of mirrored up here at the top, and here we have some ruching at the top too to kind of pick up this same detail at the bottom.
yeah. That's just it's so pretty. Yeah,
Thanks.
this would be a beautiful gift for a bride, or you could
Yeah, this one was fun.
just make it for yourself and keep it.
Hmm. And
Yeah,
it does. It also has an applied I-cord edge here. I don't know if anybody's ever worked one of these, but it's a fun technique that you can do and here I used it to kind of cover where the fabric transitions from solid to sheer.
yeah, very pretty. So then on to
Thanks.
daytime. This is like walking out the door. And I when I
Oh,
saw
I
this
love
sweater,
that
first of all,
one.
I just love scoop necks. I just
Mm-hmm.
absolutely love scoop necks, and I'm claustrophobic, so that's like scoop neck is V-neck or my
For sure,
go-to.
yeah.
But scoop neck is so feminine. Is the applied lace
Mm-hmm.
on this is just really really special. Tell us about this sweater design.
Okay, so this one, I really, really love lace, and a way to cheat on this if you don't want to knit the lace is to buy store-bought. Um, but I decided for this garment I wanted to actually knit it. And this one's out of Madeline Tosh, which I'm sure you can easily identify by the picture. But yeah, so this is the DK weight here. And this, the base of this, the cardigan, is super simple, just stockinette, works up really quickly, basic, cardigan shape. But it really is the lace that sets it apart. And so the lace you knit separately, and then you end up just kind of tacking it with sewing thread. And when you do that, though, like I used blue thread to tack it, but you can't even see it in the back.
Oh,
So
yeah, it just
for those
varies.
of you that are worried about sewing, yeah, it disappears right into the garment.
Oh,
But yeah,
nice.
this one's so easy to wear. You can dress it up or just, throw it on with a pair of jeans. I love it. This was, I think, my favorite from the book.
If I had to choose one, this I think this one would be mine too. It's just that
Yeah.
lace detail is so special, and then the neckline is really
Hmm.
flattering. And yeah, Mary says she
Yeah,
loves
yeah.
the lace, and Jeannie says this her daughter would look amazing in this, which I think everybody
Oh,
would look
good.
amazing in this. So Kate M says
Hmm.
she wants to
Yeah.
make it. Yes, you need to make it. Actually, Kate, who also loves the colors, Kate could make it for me.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And save me the time, so which I appreciate. So yeah, this is really beautiful. And actually this next one, if I had to pick a second favorite in the book, this would be
Oh, yeah.
this.
That one's
Well, first of all, I
fun.
love Intarsia, but there's
Hmm.
just, and I love hearts, and this is just, there's so much charm, and kind of the red heart is just a nice little wink um in the
Yeah.
in the design. It's really charming. So tell us about tell us about this sweater.
Okay, so this is called the Montmartre pullover, and this is kind of an homage to an earlier design that I did, which was the Pluie cardigan, and that was actually the first design that I ever had published, which was a little crazy for me because it was actually the first sweater that I ever designed. Um, and with the Pluie, it had little umbrellas all over it, and it was a cardigan, and it was actually knit using the same, this is Jamieson's Shetland. So if you're ever doing intarsia work, definitely use a really sticky wool yarn, because when it goes to weaving in the ends, you don't want them to pull out. So if you're using a sticky yarn like this, it's perfect. Um, but this, I love hearts too, and a lot of my work you'll see through Dressed in Knits, but also in my self-published work or my magazine designs. I really focus on the details, and the red heart, that was the detail in this one, which I just love. So I
Yeah,
hope you guys
it's
pick it too.
adorable. Yeah, and Jeannie says that she loves this one as well. But yeah, and at my cabin in North
Hmm.
Carolina, I have every room has a little heart
Hmm.
somewhere, some heart details
Oh,
somewhere
cool.
in my cabin. So some
Hmm.
rooms you have to look for it. Some rooms it's more noticeable, but there's a little heart someplace. So
That's fun.
yeah, there's just yeah. So you can tell obviously that I would really love that sweater. And
Yeah. So someone
this,
has to make that one for you.
yeah, there you go. So or who knows? I'll maybe find time and knit that for myself. So we've moved into evening now. Yeah, Kate says she liked the play on colors on
Hmm.
that sweater, which I agree. So we've moved into evening now, and this was such an interesting take on kind of a corset in a sweater, and you can kind of tell from the
Hmm.
side, but it has actually a V-neck in the back where the kind of the collar comes down, which is just there's
Yeah.
a really 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 beautiful detail on this. So tell everybody about this sweater. Ooh, are you there, Alex? Did I lose you? Uh-oh.
Oh,
Oh, there you
I
are.
can hear you
Now you're
now.
back.
Okay, there we
Okay.
go. Okay.
Yeah, so tell us about this design. It's so pretty.
Okay, so this one was probably the most challenging piece for me design-wise in the book. And I wanted something that would look really, really pretty for a date night or an important night out. And so with this one, I did kind of a sweetheart neckline, which was challenging, like I said, to design. But I basically did the cups kind of like you would do the cap shaping for
Oh,
a sleeve,
yeah.
which is how I calculated them. But it's all done with short rows, so you don't get the stair step effect. And then not only in the front does it have this pretty shaping, but then in the back, I love, love, love back button details, which I don't think we see enough of in our designs. But so this one features a back button detail here, and I got these pretty shiny buttons. And then the other thing I really love with this design is the waist shaping. You can't really see it here, but if you look in the book, there's a photo of her that's straight on, and you can see that it kind of creates an hourglass shape, like with vertical darts, which
Yeah.
I really like.
Yeah, this is really pretty. Yeah, and Jeannie says that these are timeless pieces, very classic, which I agree. These aren't like the kind of pieces where you knit them and nobody will be wearing, you'll wear them one season and put them in the closet because they look dated. I mean, these are definitely classics that will never go out of style, which, if you spend
Thanks,
all that
Jeannie.
time, I mean, it's not just the cost of the yarn, it's the value of your time knitting something that you're going to wear for one season and never ever take out of the closet again. And it's sad. It's very sad. So this sweater.
Well, thanks, Jeannie, because that was my goal with this book. I was just saying to Jeannie, it was my goal with this book to make sure that you can wear these forever.
Yeah, really nice. This one reminded me very much, this blue sweater with the bead detail. It's very sweater girl. It's very, and it definitely has kind of that retro sweater girl, other than she's not wearing a really pointy bra underneath it. Which is, I remember those days. I remember my aunt was the quintessential sweater girl, and it was those very pointy bras underneath it, though, could put somebody's eye out. So this actually looks a little more modern and natural that way, but this is so pretty. Tell us about this design. Yeah, Mary says this one's her favorite. She loves the beading on it.
Oh, good. Yeah, so this, you're spot on, Beth. It was kind of based on a sweater girl sweater. I watched a lot of Mad Men, and it kind of arose out of that. And the yarn color is also called Betty Draper Blues, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah,
it was. And also it's Madeline Tosh too, so to die for, scrumptious yarn. This one was another really challenging piece for me to design because it's a dolman sweater shape, which is something that I had not designed before. And it's actually worked in a single piece, and it has a seam just up the side seam and then up the arms, and then you pick up around here to work the ribbing for the sleeve cuffs.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for something that's like an interesting knit that keeps you kind of on your toes, this is the one in the book that you should do, because it kind of starts as a square and then opens up. You cast on for all of the sleeve stitches, and you're kind of working short rows on the sleeves, and at the same time like taking out the neck stitches, or your neck hole, and then casting the neck back on and working back down the back. So yeah, if you're looking for a challenge, this would be it in the book.
So probably if it's your first sweater, this might not be where you start.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
No. A good first sweater was the Montreal, the gray one with the lace. That's a good first sweater.
We don't want people to get discouraged. Yes. So, and then we've moved to outerwear because eventually we need to leave our homes, even when it's cold enough outside, for an extra layer. So, because Amazon does not deliver everything yet. So we
Right.
really have to leave our homes. So yeah, so tell us about this beautiful jacket. I love that asymmetrical opening. It's really pretty. Yeah, and Kate says she loves the zipper on this one.
Oh, good. Yeah, so this one was another fun one to design. Um, so I love motorcycle jackets. A lot of my inspiration comes from looking at what's coming down the runway, and I like to see if I could reinterpret it for knitwear. Um, and this was one of those pieces that I really, really wanted to try. So it does have the asymmetrical front opening. So your zipper, when you unzip it, you actually have fabric behind it, and it looks really nicely finished. You can't even tell
Yeah,
that that's two
like a
pieces of
motorcycle
fabric, but
jacket.
it is. Yeah, yeah. And it's knit in a tweed stitch, which is great for the purpose because you are not going to get cold in this sweater. There, like wind is not going to penetrate, or this jacket. It's just not going to happen. But knitting it, the tweed stitch takes forever, which, like I should have known, like when I did my swatch. Um, but I love it. I really, it's a beautiful stitch. And you can't really see it on the jacket here, but when you guys swatch for this, you'll see how pretty the fabric is. And with this one, I took just a regular Cascade 220, but to give it a little bling, I added Cadia Gatsby, which is like a shiny metallic yarn. So I held two strands together throughout. But for those of you that don't like holding two strands together, you could always switch from a worsted to like an Aran weight, and that should end up, knitting up to gauge.
Yeah, because it creates
And
that
then
really
the zippers, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
really
it really
pretty.
does. So zippers in here, I wanted the metal tooth zippers so you could see it, just like a motorcycle jacket. And you can't see it in this picture, but the zipper detail is actually repeated in the sleeves too. So
Oh,
each sleeve has a zipper.
yeah,
Um,
very, very pretty. So,
yeah, thanks. And
so
if you have trouble finding zippers, you can always order like made zippers to the lengths that you need them. So if you don't like the length of the front of this jacket and wanted to change it, you could order a zipper um, that would work. I actually bought mine when I was in New York. Let me see if I can remember the name of the store. I have it in the back of my
yeah,
book.
and there's a place online that
And
I've
then Deborah Newton had a good,
yeah, there's a place online that I've ordered a lot of zippers from, and what's nice is if you need something really long, like I think I needed a zipper that would go around a 36-inch pillow or something. Is that I mean, it's whatever length you want,
mm-hmm,
and it's shockingly inexpensive
mm-hmm.
to have a zipper actually cut
Yeah, yeah,
the length you want, which is great.
right. And this one they actually matched. I was able to match the color of the zipper tape too, so that you can kind of see it here,
Yeah,
so that you get as close to your yarn color as you can. And I think the place that I went to was Botani Zippers. And in the back of my book, there's sources for supplies and whatnot that you can find the information in there.
yeah, very nice. So this, if I had all the time in the world and I was that patient, this is
Mm-hmm.
such a beautiful poncho. And I think the thing is not only the little eyelet detail on the raglan, but
Mm-hmm.
the inset pockets are
Mm.
just beautiful. And in the close up in the book, you'll
Thank
see
you.
just how really finely detailed that is. I mean, nobody would ever believe that this, wasn't an off the Italian runway hand knit, like from Missoni kind of thing. It's just so, yeah, it's so, Jody says it's gorgeous, which I agree. And I think I'm going to have to get to a point where I think I'm just going to make something really tremendous for myself, and I'm just going to sit here and knit it till it's done. I'm not in that mode at
Yeah.
the moment. It's too close to
Yeah.
Christmas, but this is just a spectacular piece. Yeah, and
Oh, thank
uh,
you.
the Taylor family, I'm sure it's just one of the members of the Taylor family, says it's a showstopper, and Kimberly said you
That's
need
my
to get this
sister.
one. So it's not just me, that it's just there's it is just so well done that there's nothing to not completely love about this piece. So tell us about this one.
Okay, so I love capes. I think I mean it's just so ultra feminine, like anybody will look beautiful in a cape and you'll feel gorgeous too.
Yeah,
And with
walk
this
differently.
one,
You definitely walk
yes, yeah,
differently when you wear a cape.
yeah. And people look at you because, it's not something that you see every day, but it's so, so elegant. Um, and because it is so elegant, I needed a stitch that would also be super elegant. And for this one, I chose the herringbone stitch. So even though it does look like a ton of knitting, and I'm not going to lie, it is a lot of knitting, um, it's like 4 rows to the inch. So,
Oh, so you
it's not as
create a lot of
bad.
real estate quickly.
Yeah, yeah. You definitely do. And the herringbone stitch, it actually goes pretty quickly for those of you who haven't done it. It's a fun stitch to work, and it's more interesting than Miles' stockinette. But yeah, with this one, I love the collar, how it sits up a little bit. That might be my favorite detail of it. And then the pockets too. And with the pockets, I chose a fun, like bright greeny, satiny fabric. But you could choose, any kind of fabric to stick in there for the pockets. Pop a color. I love it. I love when like you buy a jacket and you look at the lining, and the lining is a super cool fabric. So I kind of wanted to do that with this.
Yeah, I do
And then
this
my other
with
thing that I really
bags.
like,
You have to put something
yes, yeah,
like secret and fun on the inside. Yes, when you open
yes,
it, you
yeah,
have
yeah,
that little
totally.
surprise, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then I also love how it has the vents on each side of the cape, so that you can actually use your hands while wearing this piece.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. You don't
Yeah,
want to have to like yank it up so that you can get your hands underneath, right? It's
exactly. Yeah,
nothing.
because I have one of those, and it's like a pain in the butt to wear, and I rarely wear it because of that.
Yeah, I've been there, and that's kind of the thing that is so beautiful about this is that this is something that you could wear and still live your life in it. So as opposed to
Yeah,
just stand there and
yeah,
look really
yeah,
pretty. So yeah, it's
yeah.
this is beautiful. So and then because we have to accessorize on our way out the door. You
Mhm.
also, though I guess you could accessorize and stay home, but I think most people accessorize when they're leaving the house. You
Mhm.
have some accessory projects in here as well. So tell us about
Yes.
this felted hat here.
Okay, so this one is called the boho hat, and it is felted. And this one, I actually, when I did the proposal, everything was just sketches, and they actually wanted to cut this one from the book. But I was like, no, I really want this piece because you don't, at least, searching Ravelry, I haven't seen a style of hat like this. On Ravelry, and so I wanted to create one because it's something that I enjoy wearing, and I know my friends enjoy wearing it. So hopefully, the knitting public will enjoy wearing it too. But this one's fun because you're using super chunky yarn. It's actually 2 strands of worsted doubled. I used shepherd's wool. Have you ever heard of from Stonehenge Fiber Mill?
No, I don't
If you've
think I've
never
used
used it, it's like the softest wool. It's a 100% merino. It's a small independent mill out of, I think it's one of the M states. I think it's Michigan. But if you haven't used it, go to your local yarn shop, buy a skein. Well, for this, I think you only need one for this. You might need two. But buy one or two, make this hat. You'll thank me later. The yarn is so scrumptious. And then once you're done knitting it, you just toss it in the wash and it felts up beautifully, and then you're set to go, out in your nice boho hat.
Yeah, nice. And then
Mm-hmm.
I had to include this piece because it's always interesting to me when I'm going through a book and I'm figuring out what we're going to talk about. I
Mm-hmm.
am so crazy for plaid. I am just insane for plaid. I love plaid. And I think I probably should have been born in Scotland in the days where people still wore tartan
Yeah,
plaid.
yeah.
But I love plaid, and I thought this was such an interesting use of it. So tell us about this
Mm.
wrap.
Okay, so where was I? I was in China and I was walking through to get to the metro. We had to walk through this mall, like from our hotel, to get to the metro. And in one of the windows, there was this beautiful wrap that wasn't plaid, but it was this shape, and it was kind of pinned down the side. And so that's where I got the idea for that button detail down the side of this wrap. So you can wear it as tightly or as loosely as you want. Um, but I loved the shape, and plaid, I am a huge fan of plaid too. Um, I'm always jotting down ideas I'd like to do, and I was going through an old notebook and I came across like this whole plaid, like all of these plaid sketches that I had done, and it's like, well, I think this would work for this piece. So I decided to do it in the plaid. So I'm sure people are wondering, well, how do you knit plaid? And so it's worked in the round, and you're doing stranded color work, so it's stranded all over the back. But for the vertical lines of red, you end up going back and duplicate stitching to get that vertical line. And because it's worked in the round, and we do end up cutting it, sneaking it so that you can do the buttons up the side. So don't be scared to cut your knitting. We talk about it in the book, how to do it, and it's fun. It's kind of like, I don't know, you have it, but then you realize everything's okay because you've
Yeah,
stitched
though
up
I
that
would say
line, and
the
the
first
stitches
time
aren't
you
going
do it
anywhere.
is the worst. The first time you cut into your,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard not to have a heart attack before you do it. But once you've done it,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, this is no big deal. I could this, yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but the first time you do it, it's a little scary. So it's interesting because
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeannie and then also Mary had said, they love this wrap, but they want to know about the scarf you're wearing because it's really beautiful. So what do you
Oh,
have on?
okay. So this is a design, one of my self-published, and it's called the Eldrith shawl. And let me show you. I'll pull up a picture. Well, I'll just take it off so you can see it.
So if I go over to your website now, people will see it, right? I can take them there now.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. You can.
there you go.
So let me move this back so you can kind of see, because this is a gigantic shawl. But so this one, it kind of transitions from just a welted stockinette to
Oh,
a
there it is,
welted
right here on
chevron,
it's on the front page
and
of your
then
website as we're sitting.
yeah, oh yeah, there. It might end up rotating out, but and then also into feather and fan, and it is knit out of Swan Island organic merino fingering, which is
Oh, I'm knitting
also
with that right
super
now.
scrumptious yarn.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, oh,
knitting
isn't
with
it
that right
wonderful? Yeah,
now. Yeah, it is. I can't.
yeah, I love it. So this one, the pattern is written for two sizes. This is the larger size. There's also a smaller size if you don't want. I think this had, gosh, maybe six, either 1,200 or 1,600 yards. I can't remember of fabric in it. But the smaller one is, I think, like half that. But yeah, this one was a fun one to work.
Very nice. Yeah, and Kate says she thinks it's very pretty, which I agree. It's really lovely.
Thank you.
So here we are. That was a great segue, by the way, on to Unplanned. So here is where you can follow, and it's right here on worldknits.com is that you
Yes.
can find Alex's stuff. And I know, Alex, you teach a lot and have
I
workshops.
do, yeah. Yes, I love teaching. I just had a baby 5.5 months ago, so I've been kind of on a teaching hiatus. But I hope to get back into it soon. But yeah, I love teaching.
And the nice thing is you also have some tutorials. You have some videos on how for some of the projects, which is great. And you can also buy
Hmm.
patterns here. And then also we'll show people on Etsy. There's like your project and Notion bags are there as well. So
Yeah, and those are all handmade by me.
they're just so
So someone
adorable.
wanted to come and say hi
Oh, and
before we leave.
I think that baby was handmade by you too, right?
Yes, yeah, it was. This one is pullover, but
Yeah.
this little baby, he was in my belly while I was working on my book, and he made it, which was good because that book was stressful. But this is Sam.
Hey, baby, so cute. That sweater is just adorable too that you're
Yeah.
wearing.
Thank you.
So in addition to tracking Alex on worldknits.com, not like tracking in a stalkery, creepy kind of way, but just keeping up with what you're working on. For those who are on Ravelry, Alex has a designer page, which is Alex-Capshaw-Taylor. So you can
Hmm.
find her there and check out her other designs, as well as you can see more designs from the book, which you can also see on Alex's website on worldknits.com. And for people who are on social media, Facebook, you can find World Knits on Facebook, and you can also find Alex Capshaw-Taylor at on Instagram, which is you can actually see pictures of what she's working on,
Oh,
which
there you go.
is cool. So, and then Pinterest, which I just love Pinterest because I can see what inspires knit or inspires designers. And you can see here, you're going to find a picture actually of Alex's wedding dress as well, the actual wedding. So it's kind of very cool, even though we saw it live and in person today. But and then also on Twitter, you can find Alex on Twitter. Look for World Knits because that's where you're going to find it. And there's a World Knits
Hmm.
channel on YouTube where where you'll see here, there's some interesting little projects here, like the whole cabling without a needle, and some interesting little how-to videos here as well. And then, in addition to Alex's website, you can also purchase her Notion bags, which are just so darn cute, on
Thank you.
her Etsy shop. So look for World Knits on Etsy. And then, I feel exhausted just by looking at the social media. For people who are, because we will give away a book during the event today, of course. But for those who, if you don't win today, you can go and check Facebook, Planet Pearl's Facebook page tomorrow morning or for about 3 days thereafter, and you'll be looking for, or we'll be giving away a second copy, courtesy of Interweave F&W Media. Bless their little book donating hearts. So you'll want to check that out. And if you don't win today and you don't win on Facebook, the first thing you should do, of course, is call your local yarn store and make sure they have it in stock. And if not, ask them why. Why not? And if they're not going to get it in stock, or you're just an instant gratification kind of person like I am, you can come over to Planet Pearl and click on books, and you'll see Dressed in Knits is right there. And you can if you click this little link, it will take you to Amazon where you can purchase it and we'll get a little commission, which is always nice to help us, like pay for GoToMeeting so that we can do events like today. So, and The Taylor family says they want to see a baby knits book from you next. Uh-oh. So, yeah, because the baby's getting a lot of love right now. So,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
I
And
think,
actually it's funny, he's definitely inspired me to start sketching some baby stuff. And I have a feeling that book would go a lot faster, or at least knitting the samples than this one, because that was
yeah,
a
you
lot of
would be
work.
knitting far less square feet of
Yeah.
fabric if you're doing baby
Yeah.
books. So, and Jeannie says thank you. Says you got much inspiration today. So thank you so much,
Yeah.
Alex, for making your first visit to the party line. It was just such a
Yeah. Thank
pleasure
you.
to meet you, and thank you for the personal tour of your lovely book.
Thanks. Yeah.
And
Thank you.
people in the room, do not go away because I am about to give away a book. So thanks everyone. Hang in there. So if you missed any part of this, you come back and watch it on YouTube later today.